In this video, we're going to tie a fly called the Mohican Mayfly. We're going to start off with some 8/0 uni rusty Dun thread. We're going to start it just at the tip of a needle. Now we're going to tie in the tail. For that, we're going to use some natural moose mane. Just going to pull off a few fibers here. Now we need to align the tips so that the tips of the moose mane all come together, a nice even point. And you can use 3, 4, 5 or so pieces of moose mane. I wouldn't use too much more than that. And we're going to tie these tips in just at the very tip of our needle. And I want our tail to be about 1/2 inch or so long. Then we can wrap forward. Now we have to be careful we don't wrap too tight. I'm just going to wrap forward with kind of some normal, regular tying pressure. That way I can slide all this off fairly easy when I pull it off of the needle. I'm going to trim off the butt ends. Now I'm going to take a piece of foam. I'm going to cut a little strip about 2-3 millimeters wide. I'm going to fold it in two. Then I'm just going to slightly kind of taper that foam so that it kind of comes to a nice little taper just like that. Then I'm going to take that foam, I'm just going to tie it in. I'm going to kind of punch it right through the very tip of the needle very carefully. And then I can make my first little segment. And I'll take my thread, wrap it forward, moving the foam kind of out of the way. I can make my second little segment. And I'll just do it again. And we'll do it once more. You can do either 4 or 5 of these little segments. Then we'll make one last segment when we mesh it up with our fly. I like to whip finish with a nice long extended reach whip finish. It's a little bigger than a normal one. Helps you reach over the body. Now we just need to carefully work our body off of our needle. And there we are, a little extended body. I kind of like to push them with my fingers and kind of curve them. Now we're ready to tie the rest of the fly. Get your camera here in focus for you. There we are. Now we're going to start with the 24/88. And we're going to take our thread and just start it just in front of the middle portion of the hook. Now we're going to take some dyed gray deer hair and put it in a little stacker so that all the tips are nice and even. Now we're going to take that hair, we're going to measure it out on our hook shank. We want it to be about the length of the shank of the hook. Then we can just take it and tie it right in with a few nice tight wraps. Before I let go of the butt ends, I'm actually going to get in there with my scissors and trim them as close as I can. Now I'm going to take all that hair I'm just going to draw it upwards. Whoop. I haven't quite got it secured yet with my thread. And I'm going to build just a little bit of a thread dam right in front of all that deer hair. That's going to help pinch it in place and keep it standing up. And you can kind of do the same thing at the back of the fly as well. Just biting through all those butt ends, build up another little thread dam at the back. And then once everybody's secure, we're ready to mesh up our extended body to the fly. I'm just going to take my thread to the back. I'm going to take my little extended body and I'm just going to slide it into place. And I'm going to take a loose wrap of thread and then do a second loose wrap, and then you can bite down and secure the extended body to the hook. You can pull your foam back out of the way and lay down a couple tight wraps right in front of it. Now I'm going to jump my thread to just in front of that deer hair. Now I'm ready for the hackle, and you can use a few different colors of hackle. You can use a grizzly, an olive. I'm just going to use a dark barred ginger color here. It's a pretty buggy color of hackle. I'm going to use a whiting rooster cape. Once I kind of find a hackle that I like the looks of here. See, it kind of has some natural variation to it. And I'm going to strip out a few of the fibers. And I'm just going to tie it right on top of everything. Now I'm just going to dub a little bit of a thorax here. All this is going to do is just kind of cover up all the work, hide some thread, just kind of clean up everything. I'm just going to use some natural hare's ear dubbing for this. Probably not a necessary part of the fly, but it just kind of helps clean everything up. I'm just going to take a quick little turn back behind everything here. There we go. Now I'm ready to take this hackle. I'm actually going to take it and wrap it around both the foam and the hair. So I'm just going to carefully take it, get that first wrap started. First wrap is the hardest one. There we go. I didn't quite get it down around it. There we are. Usually just takes 3 or so wraps. Now we can take our hackle and secure it behind the eye of the hook. You want to trim out any of the excess hackle fibers that got trapped. Now we're going to take that foam just going to trim out a few of those extra trapped fibers. I'm going to take this foam and just kind of pull it down at a downward angle. Take a couple loose wraps. If you trap a few of those pieces of hackle, you can just get in there and trim them out. Now we can take our thread to just behind the eye. Whip finish. You could trim your foam so you make a little kind of a mayfly head, kind of in between or on each side of the eye of the hook. And sometimes you get a few little trapped pieces of hair or hackle. I just usually get in there, pluck them out with some tweezers or your hackle pliers. And then you can take your hair, just kind of spread it out like a little mohawk. And what's going to happen is that fly is going to sit on the water with that wing sticking straight up. Then this hackle acts like little legs of the mayfly. You can see you have just enough room there to slide in your tippet into the eye. You can also take markers and marker up the fly as well to kind of match the mayflies. Zoom out here a little bit so you can kind of see everything, all the tail. But that is the Mohican Mayfly. You can tie it in a few other colors. You can tie it in olive, black, brown. This is kind of just a natural basic color, and that is the Mohican Mayfly.